समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् Hari Om. So today we start verse 9. Now, this is a technique in dramatic theory that whenever there is something amazing happening, you suddenly do a freeze. It's like a freeze. And that freeze is that suddenly there is no action, there is total stillness. Now, also not only stillness, but they freeze one shot and they start another shot. This is a drama technique, like you have seen in cinematography, that the scene shifts from the home of the hero suddenly to the home of the villain. Okay, so like that they do, and this is done for dramatic effect. Now here suddenly you have, after Krishna says Divyam dadami te chakshu, it is Sanjay Uvacha. So the focus or the scene shifts to the Hastinapur palace, where Sanjay is relating the entire narrative of the war to the blind Dhritarashtra. So Sanjay Uvacha eva muktva tato rajan Mahayogeshwaro harihi darshayamasa parthaya paramam rupameshwaram. Having thus spoken, O king, the great lord of yoga, Hari, showed to Partha his supreme form as the Lord. Now, notice that Sanjay over here is addressing his, in today's language, boss, his king, who is blind, and he tells him that after saying this, having spoken, O king, the great Lord of Yoga Hari, देखो here he does not call him Gopal or Makhan Chor or any such thing, Nand Gopal, none of that. He calls him Mahayogeshwara Hari. Please understand, one is Yogi, one is Mahayogi, and the third is Mahayoga Ishwara. This is a sandhi of three words. Mahayogi Ishwara and Hari. Hari is the one, I have explained it before also. Hari is the one जो आपके पापों को हरण करता है, the destroyer of all sins, the one who takes away all negativities from you. He is called Hari. The root word is haran karna. Haran karna means snatching by force, taking away by force. Now that the Lord does. And what does he snatch? What does he take away? He takes away the negativities, the sorrow, the papa from your mind. Now, darshaya masa parthaya paramam rupameshwaram. Now, what does he show to us? He showed to his supreme form, the Lord showed to Arjuna. That is what Sanjay is saying over here. Now, देखिए इसमें एक चीज है बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग. You must notice that of course the running commentary is for a man who is blind. So Sanjay is talking about form. He has to give detailed description. Now over here, any given form generally excludes every other form, isn't it? Only then it can be a form. Think. One form can only have an outline. Okay. Now, once you have an outline, you exclude all other forms. Only then this particular form is visible. Here is a form that is being shown, which is complete. It is a complete form. It contains all the forms which are also complete. Otherwise, like last time I had given you the example of children playing with plasticine. They make different dolls and balls and houses, horses, cow, this, that. But once they break those forms and mold the plasticine into one form, all those forms are broken, or only parts of those forms are visible. Here, the entire form of the Lord with the entire forms of the entire universe are also visible over here. Now, Mahayogeshwar, he calls him, because you see, he is the only person who has the complete power to destroy all untruth. Mahayogeshwara. Yogis get a lot of power. You must have heard, na? Yogis who can walk on water, and yogis who have this power and that power, ye siddhi, wo siddhi. They can read your mind, they can do this, they can do that. Now, these kind of siddhis come to a person who is regularly meditating and has reached certain meditational heights. Sankalpa Shakti becomes powerful, Yoga Shakti becomes powerful, and their uh, alertness and ability of the mind becomes very sharp. So, all those things happen. But here, this Krishna is a Mahayogeshwara Krishna. Now, so over here, this is indicative of Sanjay's. When he says Mahayogeshwar and Hari, this is indicative of Sanjay's silent sympathies on the other side of his master. His master is Dhritarashtra. Okay, but Sanjay's sympathies are with the Pandavas. You can see through the language he uses. Mahayogeshwara, Rupa Eshwaram. What is Krishna showing? The Aishwarya of his form. And he calls him Hari, Mahayogeshwara. So these are showing to you the sympathies of Sanjay. He calls him the Lord of the universe, and why he is using these Yogeshwara and thing is also to indicate to Dhritarashtra the fatality of the war. He is trying to indicate to him that Hari, Mahayogeshwar, is on the side of Arjun. Can you imagine the outcome of the war? What will it be? So he is not saying it in so many words, but he is hinting to Dhritarashtra that try and stop the war now. If you want the safety of your clan and the safety of your sons, you alone have the power to stop the war. But Dhritarashtra is so blinded by the love for his son, moha for his son, that he cannot stop his son from doing anything, whatever he is doing, or guiding him to the right path, or Dhritarashtra himself doing the right thing. He can't, because he is under the influence of moha. Anybody who is under the influence of moha is blind to the reality. So, Dhritarashtra's blindness is symbolic of his being blind to the reality of the situation. And that is how he acts, like a blind man acts. Dhritarashtra is the only man, the only one and only person who can stop the war, but he does not stop it. Now Sanjay further says, next verse, अनेकवक्त्रनयनम् अनेक अद्भुतदर्शनम् अनेकदिव्याभरणम् दिव्या अनेकोद्यतायुधम्. His next verse, दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरम् Divyagandhanulepanam Sarvashcharyamaya Devam Anantam Vishvato Mukham. These two verses are done together. So, with numerous mouths and eyes, with numerous wonderful sights, with numerous divine ornaments, with numerous divine weapons, uplifted, such a form he showed. Since Dhritarashtra is blind, Sanjay is enumerating graphic details. He is painting a picture of the Lord's form that Arjuna is seeing. Now, all these have to come within the purview of the blind man's perfect perception. And therefore, Sanjay is listing, look at the details Sanjay is giving with numerous mouths and eyes. I told you that all forms are depicted in this one form. So, with universal forms. Huh? Now, we cannot imagine this thing actually because nowhere in the world have we ever seen anything like that, right? So, look what he says, numerous mouths and eyes with numerous wonderful sights, with numerous divine ornaments. See, he says Divya, Divya every time. Divya means divine. Numerous divine ornaments with numerous divine weapons uplifted. When he even talks of them, see, he's talking of ornaments and he's talking of weapons. How does weapon come in over here? Weapon is described again to hint to Dhritarashtra that do you realize the outcome of the war? Do you know what will happen? There are so many weapons ready to fire, ready to destroy your side of the war because the Lord Himself is on the other side. And the Lord Himself is extremely powerful. So the end of the war is already decided. Stop it now if you want to save your sons, if you want to save your throne, if you want to save your kingdom. Now, then, here the next verse is wearing divine garlands and apparel, anointed with divine unguents, and all wonderful, resplendent, endless, facing all sides. देखो ये जो है ना विश्वतो मुखम, ये बहुत important. This is a concept which you must understand. This is looking in every direction. Vishvato mukham means facing all directions. How can anything face all directions? If I'm looking ahead, I don't have eyes at the back, right? Nobody in the world has eyes at the back. Nobody has eyes on the sides. Nobody has eyes on the head, nor on the soles of the feet. How? So all these directions, there are 10 disha. You know, the West always talks of 4 directions: north, south, east, west. Now it is not north, south, east, west. We talk of 10 directions. 4 directions, then the middle, draw a line in the middle of north and south, draw a line between east and north, north and west, west and south. So like that they become 8. Okay, so 8 are all around and one above, that is also direction, you know, going up, and going down, that is also a direction. So 10 हो गए आपके. So all the 10 directions, there is nothing in this entire universe that looks to all 10 directions, isn't it? Okay. So here there is not only no direction, every direction is Vishvato Mukham. Also, there is no end, there is no top, there is no bottom, there is no width. Think about it. Just think about it. The universal form of the Lord has no end in any direction. It is Ananta. इधर भी उधर भी उधर भी उधर भी. ये देखो, word is Ananta. Devam Anantam. Anantam Vishvato Mukham. Anantam means there is no end, no matter how far you look. the same thing is there. That is Vishvato Mukham. It includes all forms. Every possible form in the world is included in this. So it is a universal form. Look how he begins. He says, wearing divine garlands. ये तो सबको समझ में आ जाता है, and there's nothing to it. And apparel. His apparel is also divine. Divya. Divya means never going stale, resplendent, forever new, forever charming, forever, forever, forever. Add forever to everything. That means not at all depleting or being destructive, becoming less or anything. That is divine, divya. So here it is, wearing divine garlands and apparel, anointed with divine unguents. Unguents is लेप, जिसको हिंदी में लेप कहते हैं आप. हाँ, ये देखो यहाँ पे अनेक कहाँ है, सॉरी, हाँ, दिव्य गंधानुलेपनम. दिव्य गंधानुलेपनम. गंध, fragrance. दिव्य, divine fragrance. एंड लेप, लेप कैसे कर सकते हैं आप? ओनली विद अ पेस्ट. लेप आप, यू कैन डू इट विद एन ऑयल और पेस्ट, है ना. इट हैज टू बी ए लिक्विड substance. That is called unguent. Now unguents, a divine unguent, fragrant unguent, is all over your body. Something like chandan or kesar, chandan and all that. So in India, when a girl gets married, so she has this ceremony of these unguents, huh, of disinfectants like turmeric, saffron, and honey, and chandan, sandalwood. All these are mixed together in a curd. All these are mixed together in a kind of a paste which the whole family enjoys like a game, applying on her, on the girl's body or the boy's body, because it makes the body resplendent. Here the Lord is already applied with all that. Then he says, all wonderful, resplendent, endless, and facing all sides. Now see, millions of heads, millions of hands, millions of eyes, that all the universe includes. You have these kind of descriptions in the Upanishads also. This is a mighty vision. This is a huge, resplendent vision of the universal Lord, as nobody has ever seen and nobody can see. Even Arjun could not see. He has been given divine drishti, divya chakshu, to see this resplendent thing. There is description of this in the Upanishads, in Suktams and all. Purusha Suktam, the same, na? Om Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sabhumir Vishvato Vritva Atyatishta Dashangulam. Now, so this kind of a thing in all directions, in all forms and everything. So, where Purusha Suktam also describes the similar kind of form. Come to the next verse. दिव्य सूर्य सहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मन. If the splendor of 1,000 suns were to blaze out at once, simultaneously in the sky, that would be like the splendor of that mighty being, that great soul. Dekho, this is really very amazing. In our scriptures, when the Parabrahma Paramatma is described, or the pure conscious principle, the God principle is described, it is generally described like this. Now, Divya Surya Sahasrasya. This is impossible to imagine. Can you imagine Surya Sahasra. You know, one sun you cannot look at. Have you tried looking at the sun sometimes? You are blinded. You cannot look at the sun. Only when it is setting or rising, you can look at the sun. But when the sun is in its supreme power, can you look at the sun with your fleshy eyes? No. If you look for some more time, your retina will burn. Here, what is the description? Surya Sahasra, like 1,000 divine Suryas rising suddenly together at one time. Now, that is a bit unbelievable, isn't it? You feel that this is hyperbolic, or you feel this is something impossible, cannot happen, does not happen. Fine, that is perfect, and that is exactly what it is trying to convey to you. That something that you have never seen in this universe, something that you have never seen in the world, is what it looks like. दैट इज वाई ये जो उपमा है, इवन वो गणेश जी की जब आप स्तुति करते हैं ना, वक्रतुंड महाकाय, हाँ, और वो कहते हैं सूर्य सूर्य कोटि समप्रभ. नाउ सेम सेम थिंग ना, सूर्य कोटि समप्रभ, दैट योर स्प्लेंडर इज लाइक 1,000 सन्स. अब भैया 1,000 सन के हम तो एक ही के मारे नहीं देख पाते, 1,000 सन का तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता. So how come these kind of similes are given? देखो, whenever the scripture describes the ultimate reality, the powerful Lord of this universe, it is describing something that is never seen in the world. Now, when the drishti is not possible to see this kind of thing, it is an impossibility, right? Now, आपको क्या सिमिली दी जा सकती है? What is the simile? There is no simile existing in the world of matter which can compare to this divine vision. Therefore, a simile is chosen beyond the world of matter, beyond our perception. Something which does not exist in the world, that kind of simile is chosen. This is done in Sanskrit literature. Why? Because you are asked to imagine something which is you have never seen. No one has ever seen, not you, but no one has ever seen. So you are asked to imagine something which is beyond your perception. So this in Sanskrit literature is known as Sambhavit Upma. Sambhavit Upma. That means ऐसा संभव हो तो क्या? Got my point? It is a possibility of imagination. This is called Sambhavit Upma. The Sanskrit literature uses this kind of thing many times only to tell you that it is beyond your recognition, beyond your perception, beyond your imagination. So this Surya Sahasrasya, Divya Surya Sahasrasya is used for that. The splendor of 1,000 suns were to blaze out at once. Also, एक एक करके नहीं, एक साथ. Imagine. It is much, much, much bigger than an atomic blast or a nuclear blast or whatever you have ever imagined. So, it says in the sky that would be like the splendor of that mighty being. So, dazzling in its own brilliance, divine, perfect, and something which will blind you completely is what this sun is. I have told you that in the Upanishads also you use similar language. कई बार ये language आती है, of the splendor of the 1,000 suns. Only telling you that beyond your imagination. Come to the next verse. तत्रैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं प्रभिव प्रविभक्तमनेकधा. Again, तत्रैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं प्रविभक्तमनेकधा अपश्यद्देवदेवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा. Now, there in the body of the god of gods, Pandava, son of Pandu, then saw the whole universe resting in one with its many groups. Now, what do many groups mean? See, he's saying that in the body of the god of gods. God of gods kya hua? God of gods, huh? It only means that any power, God is a power, any power, superpower that you can imagine, he is above and beyond that. He is more powerful than anything you can ever imagine. Any Shakti, any power, any dictator, हम लोग का तो concept यही है ना, dictator or natural powers of our little world that we know or we understand that we know, वही है हमारा. तो उससे कहीं ज्यादा अधिक, there in the body of the god of gods, O Pandav means son of Pandu, then saw the whole universe. So Arjun saw the whole universe. Now it is not the whole world. Okay? It is not the whole solar system of yours. No. It is the entire universe. Unimaginable. Unimaginable. The entire universe, you cannot even see the reality of the sun or the moon. You cannot see the reality of the Saturn. Even the rings of the Saturn are discovered only by a very, very powerful telescope, isn't it? So you know nothing even about your own solar system. What do you know about the universe and the thousands and millions of stars and planets and solar systems and all that is there? There is no beginning, no end, anybody knows. But here, in the form of the Lord, he saw the whole universe resting in one, resting alone in that one cosmic form of the Lord is what Arjun saw. This is a Vishwaroop darshan. Vishwaroop darshan, remaining in the limits or the boundaries of the one form. Very difficult to imagine, really very difficult to imagine. Just think about it. How many forms, even in your own world? Animals, birds, sea creatures, people who live underground, Nag, then Dev, Manushya, Yaksha, Rakshasa, Gandharva, Kinnar. All these are species listed by our rishis. Listed by our rishis. All kinds. और इसमें मनुष्य, Dev is Devta, Manushya, Yaksha. Yaksha are with semi superpowers, semi godly powers. Then Rakshasa. Rakshas, so we all know, hai na? Very familiar with Rakshasa. They are all over the world. So Rakshasa. Gandharva. Gandharvas are the artists and the musicians of the world. They are not of the world really, they are called celestial. Celestial because they have super sensitivities which the general lot of people do not possess. Because हम लोग जो है ना ये artists, writers, you know, dancers, musicians of every sort, इनको हम लोग we all say ना कि their mind works differently from the normal human being. So it is that they are super sensitive to things, sounds, you know, musicians to sounds and all that. I remember once in a sitar class, you know, the sitar teacher, there were about 12 different students sitting and playing different ragas. The sitar teacher could catch the besura swar of one rag of one student who was playing and say कि क्या बजाया तुमने फिर से बजाओ. Imagine how sensitive his sound system was, that he could immediately catch that this swar does not belong to this raga which this student is playing, and he caught it with 12 different instruments playing. I saw that. Now, so just see. So, Gandharva, Rakshas, Gandharva, Nag. Nag are a species credited with certain powers which human beings do not have. And those powers are listed. Nag is a jati. नाग इज अ जाति, हाँ, एंड वो जो जाति है उसमें कुछ अलग तरह के पावर्स होते हैं, एंड दैट इज व्हाई नाग you will find in so many religions of the world snakes are depicted in ancient religious books, statues, civilizations, philosophies. Nag is always depicted, serpents are depicted, uh, um, uh, interpreted as many different kinds of powers that they have. Okay, now here the cosmic man or this cosmic vision is beyond time and space. हमारा time and space क्या है? Very limited periphery of time and space in which we live, human beings live. But this cosmic vision is amazingly spread, and it can go beyond the framework of time, and it does go beyond the framework of time and space. And also the entire species of that are there in the world, ye keh rahe hain na, with its many groups, huh? So the entire species of this world, for your intellectual comprehension, are compressed into one form, made into one form, which is very, very difficult to do, extremely difficult to do. Like you make a miniature painting where large forms are made into very, very tiny, very, very tiny, and they do these miniature paintings. I am told by some artists, they do them with human hair, and with one human hair they paint. Can you imagine the fineness of the whole thing that they capture? Expressions on the faces, expressions in the eyes, and those miniature paintings, if you enlarge them, you can see the detailed brushwork. It is amazing. So, here also, this is the painting of, this is the divine vision of the cosmic painting in a miniature form. And Gurudev says that has shrunk, time and space has shrunk into the form of Krishna, the divine form of Krishna that he shows you. Now, देखो, this is showing you all in one, है ना? हमने chapter 10 में क्या देखा था? One in many. Here it is everything and all in one form. Now we have to intellectually visualize this. See, modern science, chemistry. Chemistry says that when all different chemicals that are there in the world are put onto a chemistry lab's table, they count them as 92 in number. ठीक है ना? Now, those 92 further researched into by scientists, they say that all 92 have only three constituents, and those constituents were uh, atoms, protons, and electrons, protons, and neutrons in one atom. Okay, in one atom, all these three are present. Now, all the atoms put together are today, they say there is only one thing, and that is the God principle. You can call it by any name, call it any name, call it the God principle, call it, what do they call it? Particles. There are just one kind of particles floating in the entire thing where they form or look like something, or they disintegrate and they look like something and disintegrate. That means no creation. There is no creation. Even big scientists say that there is, you see things but they are not there. These are the latest theories of science, also given out by Nobel Prize winning scientists. that what you see is actually not there. It is an illusion. Whereas our Vedantic scientists, the rishis of old, have said this long, long ago, that what you see is an illusion, it is not there. Our Vedanta said it, that what you see is an illusion, not there. And how much we make of small, small little things. Look at the ego of man. He said this to me, he did this to me, this little piece belongs to me, this crystal is mine, this furniture is mine, this car is mine. Who are you and where are you? As Gurudev used to say, a speck of microcosmic dust in the universe, which was never there, just looked as though it was there for a little while and disappeared. And that dust has got a mind of its own. It has got a thought bundle which it keeps talking of I. What is I? Think about. It is just a bundle of thoughts. You consider that those thoughts, they have created this personality called me, I. And how idiotic this sounds, that so much of fights, so many, disintegrations, murders, wars take place only because of this I, me, my. Anyway, come to the next paragraph. Next stanza, sorry. ततः स विस्मयाविष्टो हृष्टरोमा धनञ्जयः प्रणम्य शिरसा देवं कृताञ्जलिरभाषत. Now, he, Dhananjay, that is Arjun. Dhananjay was Arjun's title, we all know. So then he, Dhananjay, filled with wonder, with his hair standing on end, bowed down his head to the god and spoke with joint palms. Kritanjali. You know, when you join your palms and bow your head, that is Kritanjali. Anjali is two palms coming together in any way, that is Anjali. And Kritanjali is with gratitude. When you feel Kritartha, when you feel Kritagya, that is Kritanjali. So, and with your head bowed, not with your head standing, that is arrogance. So, considered as arrogance. So, here in the Hindu culture, then he, Dhananjaya, Arjun, filled with wonder, with his hair standing on end. When does this horripilation on your body happen? When you are wonderstruck, or when you are terrorized, when you are terribly frightened, or you are in awe, then your hair stands on end. It is a physical thing that happens, called horripilation. Now, so with head bowed down, now you see the change of attitude in Arjuna. The change of attitude after seeing the divine form of Krishna. Suddenly, Arjuna's attitude changes from that, ke, oh, look at him. I considered him just as my ordinary relative. I considered him as my friend. I considered that I was the prince and he was just a shepherd boy who has had no great education and training like I have had. All those things die down, वो ढह जाते हैं, और क्या रह जाता है? Gratitude, wonder, awestruck. He is terror stricken and awestruck. Gurudev used to give an example that once he was traveling and the person sitting next to him waiting for the aircraft to arrive was somebody, and Gurudev was all the time complaining about railways and how late the trains are and this, that, and the other, and he kept on complaining. And at the end, he realized, when he asked him, his identity, the fellow said he was the railway minister. Now, when he was the railway minister, suddenly Gurudev's attitude towards him has to change, because he just thought him to be some ordinary citizen like him, sitting and waiting for the flight to be announced. Whereas this man, so then what happens when you get to know the exact identity, a great identity of a person, then your attitude changes. Here, Arjun, till now, who used to think Krishna to be just his childhood pal, and also his relative, and also that he was a shepherd boy, and also that Arjun, he had this arrogance of a prince. Look at him now with Kritanjali. He says, Kritanjali Bhashata, Pranamya Shirasa with head bowed down in total reverence. With Kritanjali, he God, and spoke with joint palms. So then we do this Arjuna Uvacha in verse 15 next time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.